I'm sure. All right, there we go.
You guys gotta let me finish my dinner real quick. Welcome to the TV Report. I'm your host, David Combs, here with Tony Kennedy. Caught me in the
What's
middle
up,
of dinner,
baby?
man.
What's up, baby? You know how it is, baby.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get that dinner, baby.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk. Tony, what's going on with the University of Maryland, man? Who they got this week?
They have Penn State. They got a big one to see where their program is in football, that is. Seeing that both seasons have started, basketball started, football. When we're talking about football, University of Maryland, good job. My man Loxley out there doing it. Great job by them. They already both eligible. They got Penn State, Ohio State, Rutgers. Got finished strong, like they said in the weight room.
You know, looked like they might have been a little bit. I don't know if they were tired last week. I just don't know what happened. Just didn't seem to have it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's why coaches don't like the bye. Guys went home, got out of your routine, all kinds of stuff. A bye is good when you lose it. A bye isn't good when you win it. It can throw your timing off. So,
Okay.
you got a couple ways of looking at it. But I think they get back into their rhythm. And you got to remember, they've been going since the end of July, beginning of August, and they haven't had a time off. So now you give them a time off into October, and that type of stuff happens.
You know, I've enjoyed this season for Maryland, and honestly, I think they're playing with house money the rest of the way. I think
Yeah,
they've had a great season so far. You know, the letdown against Purdue. That one hurt because that game was
they got
winnable.
cheated.
They got cheated, but that didn't take. That's one thing I did like about this season so far was the play of the backup quarterback. That kid came in there and gave them some quality burn. It shows to me that Mike Loxley can coach. He can get his number one QB ready, and his number one QB, his second QB came in and he was firing. You know, so that's good. That bodes well for the program. So as far as I'm concerned, Maryland's playing with house money, and they should have a good end of the season. I'm looking forward to good things from them. I'd like to see them get two out of. I want to see them get two out of the last three. I don't think they're
That
going
would
to get Ohio State,
that would
but
be
I
great
think they
for
can
them.
beat. They should if they can beat Penn State. I think it's a successful season, and you sit back and wait to see. You wait to see how the bowl thing shakes out, and you take your contractual bowl. Hope for the best for the Big Ten in the playoffs. The better the Big Ten looks in the playoff, that'll boost up Maryland's bowl by at least one spot,
Yeah, if
right?
they get two in the playoffs, they move up a slot. So
Yeah,
you know how that
yeah, for the
goes.
bowl
I
time,
mean,
right?
for the bowl tie, and they had a good bowl last year when they were in New York for Christmas time. What better
Yeah,
place to be
yeah,
at Christmas time in New York? So
yeah.
they were pretty good there. So that worked out for them. Thank you
Okay,
so much. Yeah,
so
so yeah.
we got to talk about that home team, man. Give Maryland some love, and as we move into college football and talk a little bit more about that, we didn't touch on it as much, but the Tennessee and Georgia thing. Georgia made a statement. Georgia really made a statement last week. I wish we had talked about it more, but obviously you had the Kyrie Irving thing that happened. We needed to talk about that. But listen, they let Tennessee know where they're at.
Yeah, Georgia is probably the best team in the country. When I saw from Ohio State lagging against Northwestern, that's not going to cut it. If Ohio State play like that, Michigan may even have a shot at beating them in Ohio State, which hadn't happened in so damn long. But Georgia, those boys down there can play. And
They literally, I think that game was obviously a statement. because I think that Georgia was offended that people thought that Tennessee was as good as they were, and I think they went out there and they showed them where they were at. You ain't with us. You ain't with us.
You
Right.
ain't close to us.
Right. Exactly. And then obviously Alabama took another one on the chin. LSU. Hey man, look. I'm gonna give y'all some love. Look,
Great game.
LSU. I've said a lot of negative things about Brian Kelly over the years. He's coaching his ass off over there. He's doing a great job. He's doing a better job than I thought he would. I didn't think this was a good hire.
First year, that's pretty damn good. We got a guy, Greg Penn. Congratulations, baby, Gregory Penn from my area. Congratulations. Hope you might be a Kennedy Sports Group. You might be a Kennedy Sports Group signing, so we can help you with them NILs, baby.
A great game last week, and as we look to see, well, when is the next rankings come out?
Well, it just came out 2 nights ago.
2
Monday
nights ago.
night,
So
Monday
take
night.
me through what you think on your top four, and throw one or two teams in there that should be moving up.
One is always Georgia. I want to put 2 is Ohio State. 3 is Michigan. 4 is TCU. Then I'm going to still keep Tennessee at 5 like they have it. But at 6, I think USC should be there. 7, you have your Alabama, which I still think is, no, excuse me, LSU.
Yeah, Alabama can't go
LSU.
down that. Yeah, okay.
LSU. And then after that, it really doesn't,
You,
go. I think USC has a great chance of making the play.
you think LSU has a shot? You said USC has a shot of making the playoff.
Yes.
What's their path to get there?
Win out.
USC is going to have to win out,
Win out.
win the Pac-12, and they're going to need Michigan or TCU to lose. They're going to need Michigan or TCU to drop out.
One of those teams got to drop out anyway because Michigan plays Ohio State.
So Michigan or Ohio State either will eliminate one or the other.
Yes.
TCU would possibly move up to the second or the third spot, depending on what happens, which would open up. Well, then also Tennessee could get eliminated, right?
They will jump them.
And they would jump them. Okay. So
Yeah, by not being the champion of the conference. Yeah.
is USC ready to make this leap? Is USC ready to step into a game against the Georgia, against the
Listen,
Michigan / Ohio State?
they ain't nothing but Oklahoma and them. Listen, they ain't got no defense.
Is Oklahoma with sunglasses?
Yeah, that's all they are. They ain't got no defense, so they
Okay.
can't play against those top teams. But they can score, and as long as you can score, you have a chance in college.
I mean, what would it take for USC to develop their defense over the next couple of years while they still have Caleb and money? What, you have to start paying some dudes?
You got to go pay for them defensive dudes, man. That's what they doing now. How you think they getting all that other stuff? They got to pay for they got to pay to get their recruits nowadays. But it shouldn't be too hard to convince them to be in LA, one of the best cities to live in the world. Shouldn't be too hard.
Shouldn't be.
I think they got to take advantage of having Caleb this year and next year. Because he only has
He's
to stay
gone.
3 years.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. So at this point, they're basically what you're telling me is, Tony, USC is not playing for the championship this year. They're recruiting for the championship in 2 years.
Yeah, for the next
Build
year.
their way up to it. Okay.
Next year, they'll be a top 4 team all year.
Should be.
If they get through the portal and whatever they've been doing for their classes for last year, this year, next year.
Okay.
It's all defense with them.
I can dig it.
Once they start playing defense out there, they're going to be a problem because of your boys' offense is always going to be able to score. They're always going to be able to score. It's just the defense for them.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting, Tony. What else do you think about the college game right now? We haven't talked a ton about Deion Sanders this year. We've been watching him, off to the side. Looks like things are going pretty well down there at Jackson State.
I think Deion Sanders won't leave to go to a Power Five. I think now with Deion, it's all about legacy. See, you can only have but so much money. You can only have but so many rings and all that stuff. Pretty soon, it's about what are you leaving for your kids and your grandkids. And I think the legacy is more important than Dion. Because look at it. He can go in, he could have gone anywhere. Why did he pick Jackson State? They allow him to be him, and he's changing the game. When I say change the game, he's making all the other teams better because now they have to recruit to compete. And now you're just not saying, oh, I just got a letter from Southern. Oh, I really don't want to go there. I'd rather go to LSU. Oh, I got a letter from Mississippi Valley State. Oh, I'd rather go to Ole Miss. No, the mind, these guys will start thinking differently. And when that happens, it's going to bring up the level of play. And, I mean, we go to school to get education. But you also in school to maximize whatever that you're good at doing. If you're good at football, maximize your chance. You only get one shot. Go do it. You're going to get your education. You can't
You know what?
even play.
You know what, Tony? Working with you on the high school football games, right? And I didn't know as much. I don't know as much about football as you do. I know the advertising. I know one side of that business. You know that football side, the important part, right? We did that one game, and that school, we ain't gonna say the name, but that school wouldn't give our kids ice that was playing in their football games. Remember that? They wouldn't let us use the ice machines. I never understood how important ice was. Dion was talking about that down at Jackson State. He was saying, man, ice machines are broken, dude. How am I supposed to practice with? How am I supposed to run a football operation without ice? It's like it's one of the most basic things you need, and you expect it to be there, and it's not. And I got kids out here getting bruised up and all of that. I can't put ice. How can you train a team without tape, without training tables? So you brought up a great point. Rising that level of all boats, there aren't enough trainers to go around in the SWAC, the MEAC. Jackson State lets other teams use their trainers because they're paying for it. Because Dion is there and he's brought that money into the program that they can afford those trainers. You played high D1 football, right? The amount of training staff, support staff, interns on a college football sideline, how many people does it take to support a football team? About a team of about 60 people, at least.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, you are correct.
I was only watching from the stands. Now, when I worked in the SID's office, we had at least 20 people in the SID's office just doing the paperwork, just getting y'all on TV, getting the bios done, all of that stuff, so that when CBS or whoever was coming to do the game, just hand them the book. They literally just get a book. One book for Virginia, one book for the team you were playing, with all of the stats, everything all sitting in there. Brent Musburger didn't know them stats. Brent Musburger didn't know where Tony Kennedy is from. It's in the book. He had to review the book. So when I was doing Tony, you don't know this about me. I was doing the book for Virginia Tech when we would play UVA. So I was getting all your clippings. I knew all about y'all. Knew all about everybody on the team. And you had to put all that together. So, and I was just an unpaid intern, Tony. I mean, I was paid. I wasn't making a lot. I was making $4.50 an hour, $5.50 an hour, right? Can you imagine that?
That's great.
But you know what? For me to be able to do football, because you had to compete to get the football gear. If I could do football, I had to do something like lacrosse or women's tennis, because nobody wanted to do those. But they were like, hey, if you're gonna do this for us, you're gonna help us out. You got to help us out. Women's team. So I think the lesson we're learning from Dion, you said rising the top of our boats. I want to see what happens to schools like Morgan State, Howard, up here in the MEAC, a little further up near us. I want to see us do well too, man. I really like to see that because I love the Bison. I'm a hometown guy. So, all of our boys, a lot of our boys are Howard guys. I know they love to see Howard be great again.
Yeah, and it just piggybacking on that is that HBCUs, you can't compete against the Delawares, the Townsends, the Richmonds, the William & Marys until you get the base correct, and then you start adding. No, until you start adding to your facilities, you start fundraising, you start using the collective. A collective is what all the businesses come together so that they can pay their NILs out to their players, so they can up their level of recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is a master plan that Dion is showing you the blueprint. He's showing you how to beat him. Because if you can get good enough to beat him, then that means that now we're all ready to go at those Townsends and Villanovas and Delaware. Once you get to them, the next level is the MAC conference. You got to go compete against them. And then the next level is the big boys. So right now, it's the HBCUs, it's the CAA and the Delawares and those guys, it's the MAC, then it's the big boys. You're on the bottom now. But to get there, you got to be able to consistently build your programs.
Mm-hmm.
Build your programs, your infrastructure, your recruiting, the trainers, the SID. All that stuff needs to be built. And that takes time. And it ain't just coming out on damn homecoming and everybody walking in stomping the yard and all that crap.
Hey, but that's fun, though.
Consistent. It's great. And it's a feel-good church moment. But church ain't no good if you only seeing me Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter. That ain't gonna save your soul. You got to be all 52 weekends. You can't be seeing me Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter, and then think you saved.
I like Christmas. I like Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter, though.
You're a backslider if you come in on Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter.
It's Mother's Day. No? Oh, man.
The only time you see your mom is on Mother's Day and getting her that raggedy dinner that you had to wait 2 hours for.
Hey. Mama wearing her good hat on Mother's Day, man.
Yeah, but them days are gone.
Them days are gone. Okay.
Mama dropped it like it's hot on Mother's Day. Mama ain't got no damn hat and no flowery dress. Them days are gone.
I feel
it's like those old days of recruiting are gone. The recruiting is the collective of the businesses that they build on the schools and what we're going to pay to get these recruits in here so we can have a competitive program so we can make the millions of dollars from the TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we at. He said, like your boy said, is that where we at? Is that where we at?
That's where we at. I feel you. So, as we move on here on the TD Report, I'm your host, David Combs, here with Tony Kennedy. Let's talk a little Heisman Trophy, Tony. That's something we don't follow every week, but now we're about 3/4 of the way, 4/5 of the way through the season. Tony's got the Heisman pose out. The Heisman has taken a bit of a backseat in the recent years, but it's always to talk about. It reminds us of old school college football. I saw some old highlights. I saw some old highlights of some Tony Dorsett, just real old stuff. But what do you think about this year's Heisman race? It's usually a quarterback race. That's what it's turned into. Talk to me about the Heisman, and tell me a little bit more of what you think, Tony, because I want a football guy's perspective. What about the future of the Heisman?
Well, one thing, I think they need to come up off this quarterback stuff because the Heisman Trophy is supposed to be the best college player. They need to start looking more on the defensive side because right now the popularity is basically who the best quarterback and who can throw up all these BS numbers. I hate that part. Give me the best players in order to win Heisman. It's been 25 years since we've had Winston won the Heisman. That was 25 years ago. That's damn quarter of a century. And since then, there's been nothing but quarterbacks and maybe running backs. No, give me the best player. I mean, I'm asking the Heisman people to do that part. Like this year, the best player may not be Caleb Williams, the quarterback, or Hendon Hooker. The best player could be maybe Blake Corum, a running back. I mean, it could be a running back. Hell, it could be a wide receiver. Could be a defensive tackle, an edge rusher. You know, start being honest and look at everyone. Give people hype. But secondly, these players and their schools, they got to take the Heisman to here. Podcasts, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You got to bring the Heisman to social media in order to get your people thing. Because if everybody's on TikTok putting in that person to be winning, that person to be, social media is the new way. So I'm looking for the Heisman people to come, start asking us, the football people, come to social media so you can get a better perspective on that. And these stuffy ass writers who just look at the quarterback stat and just say, oh, he's the best player. And technically they go to pros and they fizz out. When's the last great Heisman player that's doing well in the pros? I mean, that's been doing well.
I mean, come on, man. Jason White won a Heisman. Come on, dog. Don't get me wrong. Great college player.
Great college player.
But come on, man. He shouldn't have gotten that Heisman. And you know, there's always going to be a Gino Torretta, right? There's always going to be a guy like that, right? But I think what you're saying, I like it, Tony. Maybe the Heisman committee, we could get some guys like us sitting around in the room and we talk about how can we make it better. Is what you don't have is that player that captivates the nation. You see what I'm saying? You don't have, you know what you need? You need a guy like Rocket Ismail. That's what you need. It's a guy like that, not necessarily with a flashy name, but the way that he plays football. Desmond Howard, the way that he played football, his flair for the dramatic. You know, everyone said that when he did that punt return, when he put the Heisman trophy, he put the Heisman pose out. They said he won it. They said that's it. And he did that without internet. So you can imagine a guy being able to captivate the nation with some key news. And Notre Dame has understood this for years. That's why Notre Dame, back in the day, got their own TV network, got their own TV deal, was so that they could put their players out there on Front Street and market them to the Heisman Trophy. You see what I'm saying? And schools, all the other schools, all they would do is send out postcards. Remember that? They would send out buckets to the sports writers. That's how they used to do it. For all you young guys watching the show, they don't just put it in email. They would get a postcard and put a stamp on it and send it. I mean, that's how we did it in the old days, right? And sometimes it worked.
Them days are gone.
Huh?
Those days are long gone.
Those days are gone. So the Heisman come up off of something and come up with a way to make their product fresh and make it for today's fans. I will say this, and maybe we can get Cody on to talk about this too. Today's fans are a lot more metrics driven than we were back when we were coming in. What if I told you I could compare a running back to an edge rusher based on their impact on the football game? There's metrics that will do that. That way you could compare a guy that plays outside linebacker that's getting 15 sacks, 15 tackles for loss, how he impacts the football game, as opposed to a running back who totes it and gets 200 yards, a couple of touchdowns. There's a way to compare these players and look at how they impact their team. Take this defensive guy off of a great defensive team, and they become average and become beatable, right? Just like if a star quarterback sprains his ankle and he can't play. Same difference. I think that's what I think the Heisman should be doing. But that's just our take here on the TV report. I mean, hey, we could be wrong. So let's talk about our home team here in the D.C. metro area. Switching topics here on the TV report. Washington Commanders. Yet another ugly week of bad PR for the Washington Commanders. and particularly owner Daniel Snyder. Daniel Snyder puts out a press release, very ill-advised, um, making a negative reference to street crime in D.C. as it relates to the shooting of Brian Robinson, Washington rookie running back. This didn't hit right, Tony. That statement didn't hit people the right way here
What
in
did he say?
D.C. Well, he said that instead of investigating the Washington Commanders, D.C. Attorney General Paul Racine should be investigating the people that shot Brian Robinson. That's what the tweet said.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that. I mean, he's already going to sell the team. He's already losing his team. At least walk out with some dignity.
Remember, he said, it's bigger than me. If I'm going down, all y'all going down.
He's not taking out. He can't take out any owners on the way. If he was going to do that, he would have to have leaked it by now. At this point, the cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows he's going to sell. Jay Glazer of Fox Sports has all but said that he is selling the entire team. If Jay Glazer said that you stole money, Tony, you've already stolen it. You might not know it, but Jay Glazer knows everything. Jay Glazer had the Ray Rice tape before Roger Goodell did, Tony.
Wow.
He's wired.
That's crazy.
So why can't Daniel Snyder walk away with some dignity, or at least give the game back some of what it gave him? You see what I'm saying? That's the problem that I have right now with the Washington Commanders. It's media, marketing, and the way that they handle the team, the way that they handle the fans is just, it's poor all the way around. And this last statement that I just mentioned to you, if we can get Cody on, Cody might be able to put it up for us so we could all see it. But it was disgraceful, Tony.
Wow. Well, I want to say this is not a good thing by Snyder coming back at them like that, and then going to talk about the crimes. We're taking off of the topic. Secondly, Washington's government, why sue the NFL when you're trying to get the team to buy into your area and build a stadium? I mean, all this back, I don't know, man. I have no clue.
Well, the D.C. Attorney General is going to file his lawsuit, okay? And then the court system is going to have to determine whether Washington even stands trial. The Washington Commanders are going to try to get the charges dismissed. That's their legal remedy. That's their legal option. And that's what they're going to try to do, is try to get it dismissed. And either way, if this does go to trial, okay, the people in Washington that were responsible for the finance, that were responsible for whatever malfeasance occurred, are going to have to answer for it. I don't think any of that totally impacts the ownership or the sale of the team. It won't slow it down. The sale of the team will go through. So we will see if any other suitors emerge, to purchase the team officially or unofficially. I'd heard another name that had popped up, was a financier named John Henry. John Henry is one of the owners of the Pittsburgh Penguins of the NHL. Obviously, he's an out-of-town guy. Washington fans shouldn't worry. He's not taking the team up to Pittsburgh. That's not happening. But having an out-of-town owner always makes me a little nervous when it comes to any type of sports team. I feel the same way about the Washington Nationals if someone like, say, Stan Middleton from New Jersey, the mortgage giant for Freedom Mortgage. If Stan Middleton bought the Washington Nationals, I'm not saying he would take them up to Philadelphia because he's located in New Jersey, but I don't want to see that happen. I want to see local ownership for football teams and sports teams because I don't want to see our sports teams move. And I'm not even a Commanders fan.
So
what's that?
Tell me Bezos and those guys are going to be the one to buy it here and keep it here.
And Bezos, you know, he's hometown if only because he owns the Washington Post. That's that's what would probably anchor the Commanders here. All of our friends that are Baltimore fans, old school Baltimore fans, know what it's like to lose a football team, and nobody wants to go through that again. Okay, nobody. When Baltimore lost the Colts, it was literally like ripping the heart out of that city. That was bad. And I think from the standpoint of the NFL doing business, they saw what happened when the Colts left Baltimore. They also saw what happened when the Browns left Cleveland and came here. So the NFL is going to try to mitigate that as much as possible. But then again, every now and then teams move. You know, nobody thought the Cardinals would lose St. Louis. Okay, and they did. Nobody thought that the Rams would leave Los Angeles, but they did. Went to St. Louis. Now they've left St. Louis, and now they're back in Los Angeles. So you know, it's going to be, you know, from the NFL standpoint, you want to put franchises where franchises can survive, right? Where franchises can do well, they can grow. A lot of people 15, 20 years ago didn't think a franchise would do well in Tennessee. They're building a brand new stadium. It's going to be incredible. We one of the state-of-the-art facilities in all of football, not just, or if not all of sports. Technologically advanced, futuristic, every creature comfort in the stadium, retail all around it. You know, SoFi Stadium, which you've been in for the Super Bowl, where the Rams play. Beautiful, right? Looks like a work of art from the street, doesn't it? You've been to Jerry World. You've been to Jerry World many times.
I've seen it from outside. I've never been inside. I've been to their practice facility, but I've never been inside of actual Jerry World. I'll be there this December for the Army Bowl.
Jerry World, when Jerry World was built, that was the future of the NFL. That was the one stadium that brought the NFL into the future. And now it's SoFi going up, what, 2 years ago. Raiders just went up. It's now teams are starting to say, got to get a new stadium. Want to get on par with, you know, what the Giants have. Want to get on par with what SoFi is. Want to get on par with what Tennessee has. That's going to have to be Washington. And very, very soon. Washington gets a new owner by March of 2023. That's with a target date. From the time the new ownership takes over in March of 2023, how soon do you think a stadium deal gets done? I think it's no later than 2024, 25. The deal. Not shovels down. I'm talking about the deal for the stadium.
I think it gets done before the season starts next year.
Even before Snyder goes out.
Well, new ownership group come in March. Stadium deal gets done before September 15th of next year.
Okay.
The season starts. I think that's a way of building and coming into that, hitting the ground running. They need to be on it because right now it's between DC and Maryland. It's simple. Guys, get the shit done.
6 months. You're trying to get that deal done, Tony, in under 6 months.
Well, I'm trying to get, first of all, they should already know where they want to be. All this damn talking and this and that. Our governments can't be this bad, and the damn team and everybody can't be this bad. It's not this fucking hard. We don't live in Boise, Idaho. I mean, they're making shit complicated. And I just look and just like, y'all got all this fucking money, and y'all make this shit complicated.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not that hard. I'm tired of making excuses for millionaires and billionaires. This is not that hard when you got money. Sorry.
Not this kind of money.
It's just me. I'm a visionary, and it's just, what are y'all waiting on? I don't make excuses for people being fucking sucking. Sorry. Y'all not regular working people. Y'all got millions and billions. Why can't y'all get this shit done? All
you know,
cities are getting it done.
Well, if anyone's going to get a land deal done, it'll be Bezos, because obviously he's got the money. He can just write the check. The question's always going to be the impact, the economic impact, the traffic impact, and there's going to be, come on, let's be honest.
Hopefully
There's always tree huggers. There's going to be the
hopefully no
environmental, environmental people, the Spotted Owl Society. Okay, I get it. When are we getting this deal done? I'd like to see the stadium personally. I'd like to see it over there near the MGM. That's ideally where, if they can get it over there, that's where I'd like to see it. I don't think that's what's going to happen.
That's the trend. All the stadiums are being built next to casinos.
Tie it all together. Yeah.
If DC's going to build that stadium, they need to get the land deal done immediately. And then they need to be finding a way to make sure that they got either put the casino inside of the stadium. It has to be something dealing with the casino, because that's what the trend is. All the new stadiums are going up next to casinos because you tie that in from events to casino. That's where we're going. They're not going to be putting you out on the island like FedEx is now, with nothing else around it. No casino, no shopping, no golfing, no nothing. So whenever has all that, that's where it's going to be. Now, if it's going to go in DC, DC better get on their shit and start building a casino and all the other stuff that goes around the stadium.
Well, the best place for DC to build a casino, obviously is down on their water.
Yeah.
Just find a place down on their water and build it down there.
What they waiting on? What are they waiting on?
I don't know. I think it would be visionary to build it on there down near the water, and then you have the boating and all of that stuff. You could put a riverboat out there. It would be really, really nice. They could really
run you all the way over the Sequoias and run you all that stuff. DC has all that. What are you waiting on?
It's a good question, Tony. And it's going to be, here's the thing, Tony, we're going to go through a nuclear winter between now and when we get the announcement. It's going to be virtually quiet. You're going to get little bitty tidbits of news here and there, but we aren't going to get the big news for Washington fans really until this team gets sold. And then we find out who the new owner is. And then there's going to be, hey, I want to know, is there going to be a parade? I think there might be a freaking parade, Tony. People are going to be laughing at me like they didn't won nothing. We're going to have a parade when they get rid of Dan Snyder. I hate to say this. How, if you're Dan Snyder, can you stay here in the D.C. area after messing up the Redskins, the Commanders, becoming a disgrace? How do you live here? Tony, you're better off being a Cowboy fan and live here than be Dan Snyder. At least they respect Cowboy fans.
I don't know, man. They've really messed up the rivalry because they've allowed a great franchise to go that far down.
It's bad.
It's bad when this time last year you just got Fitzpatrick. Oh, he's gonna do this. You got Alex Smith before that. Oh, he's gonna do this. Now you got Wentz. Oh, he's gonna do this. Man, get your quarterback so you can. They had it. They ran Haskins out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't give him time to develop. Ain't give him time to mature. They put it in the microwave and thought that they were going to get it right out.
Yep.
Some things are meant to be put into an oven and let it bake and let it mature. But that's the mentality they've had because they've been dealing with Snyder and the fans are messed up. Snyder's messed up. So both are messed up and it ain't going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So they messed up my prediction. I thought we were at 4 NFC East teams in the playoffs. Now that they play like the way they played in the fourth quarter, they blew that game. And that may have cost them a shot at the playoffs for me.
Yeah, they're practically made their path to the playoffs that much harder. Now they need help.
Must win at Philly on Monday night. That is
and let's talk about that. The Monday night game, guys. 8-0 Philadelphia Eagles are going to be hosting the 4-5 Washington Commanders. Washington Commanders are in a must-win situation. Must-win situation. Must win.
2 weeks before Thanksgiving, you're in a must win.
By any means necessary. And honestly, the Washington Commanders defense is playing great. They're doing their job.
Really,
They're doing
yeah,
their job.
really good.
The offense is not, they're not going to beat the Eagles scoring 17 to 20 points.
Got to score, baby. You got to
You
score against
literally,
them.
against the Eagles, they're going to have to put up, they might have to put up 30, Tony. And the defense has to hold on. And the defense going to have to hold on.
They're going to have to hold on. They ain't got to hope for some good turnovers. But I will say this. Inside the division, nothing is given to you inside our
Nothing.
division.
You're right. You're
I've
right.
seen these games a million times. And just when you think that you're going to run away, that division foe will come and grab you by the nut. So, Washington fans, be careful.
I would
think
say
you might
this.
have a shot.
There are 3 or 4 players for the Eagles that you can't lose. You can't afford to get injured, right? Jalen Hurts is one of them, okay?
Yep.
A.J. Brown is the other one. One of those 2 guys gets nicked. I'm not saying they out for the season, but they get nicked a little bit. Maybe they miss a couple of weeks, whatever. That brings them back to the pack, right? It's no different than with Dallas. If somebody gets hurt, like a Dak Prescott, let's see, he gets injured again. Micah Parsons gets dinged up, whatever. Or Diggs twists his ankle or gets a hammy. That impacts the team, right? So I would say this for Philadelphia. The key for Philadelphia the rest of the way is keep playing well, stay healthy, and also stay healthy, run the football, punish teams, keep punishing teams and play defense. And I think Philadelphia has a great opportunity to be the number 1 seed in the NFC East throughout the playoffs, home field advantage, first round bye, and they can sit there and watch and see who they're going to get. They're going to get to see who comes to their place. And honestly, I think you've got a team like Dallas on a collision course. I just think that's inevitable. I think that's what's going to end up happening. Is you see Dallas, if you're Philly, you see Dallas one more time in the regular season, but you probably see them again in the division round.
Divisional round, if Dallas don't drop, if Dallas stays where they are, you will see them in the division round. If Dallas drop, then Dallas is way on the other side of the bracket. They have to win 2 to go at Philly. But, Dallas
but that would
right
be for the NFC. But that would be for the NFC Championship.
Yeah, Dallas right now is looking for Philly to lose 1 game. If Philly loses 1 game, now Dallas is in a chance to get the number 1 seed.
Yes, backdoor. They'd have to backdoor. They would have to backdoor their way
because
into
Dallas plays the Vikings. That means they would have beaten the Vikings. And if they play Philly, then they beat Philly, they get that number 1 seed.
Right. That's their path. That's their path to get there. So let's talk about the AFC for a second, Tony. Buffalo Bills quarterback, Josh Allen. Have you heard any additional word on that UCL injury?
I've not heard any additional word, but I'm sure that they're prepping that second string quarterback because no matter where you finish, he has to be ready for the playoffs. If you do not have Josh Allen for those playoffs, you are you're a Dallas Cowboys, 1 and done. You be 1 and done. You out of there.
So
the most dangerous team in the AFC right now are the Baltimore Ravens. They are the most dangerous team because if an injury happened to Buffalo, that means they only got to beat 1 team to get in the Super Bowl, and that's KC. And that's whoever has to beat KC and Buffalo, KC and Baltimore, Baltimore and KC. Whoever got win the 2 is at the disadvantage. The team that only has to win the 1 is at an advantage. So as they jockeying right now, whoever only has to play 1 is at a big time advantage.
What seed does Miami need to be in to avoid having to play both of those teams?
Miami has to steal Buffalo seed and be in the 2nd or 3rd.
Okay. So if Miami ends up as a 4 seed or and they don't win their division and end up in one of the wild card spots, that's where they end up in trouble.
Yeah, they end up in trouble because Miami, of course, geographically hot. Baltimore's cold, KC's cold, Buffalo's cold. So when you're looking at those three cold weather places, you don't want to be in those places in late January. You want to be in sunny Miami. It's a different ballgame. And as you know, even the cold people coming from the cold, playing in the heat late in the year, that's actually a disadvantage for you coming down there because you're not used to that air right here.
Yeah.
You may think it's warm, oh, we want to go. It's great if you're going to the beach. It's not good because your body been climatized. So now you got to go play in that heat, all kinds of Charlie horses, all kinds. It's the same for KC, Buffalo, and Baltimore to have to go play in Miami with that damn humid thing. Because your body not used to that humidity January 21st, January 22nd. Your body has been climatized ever since Thanksgiving. So now you got to go down there and play in that heat? Absolutely not. It works against you.
Mm-hmm. I love it, Tony. That's great analysis. So let's talk about you've got the Thursday game up there, and we should be about
Atlanta and Carolina. Yes, it is. It's about to come out. They headed out the tunnel now.
Okay. So winner of this game in the winner of this game, NFC South leader, right?
If Atlanta wins, I think they can tie Tampa for the league, which is a terrible division.
Yeah. And Carolina, obviously.
I think Carolina's playing for a quarterback to get in that damn lottery.
I like the kid that they got, Tony. I like the kid they got now. The kid's a gamer.
Is he better than the guy they drafted?
No. But he's gonna be something. He's gonna get it. He'll be holding somebody's clipboard next year. I'll tell you that.
But you need to play that guy so you'll know if you need to take a top 5 pick or drafting a quarterback. You need to see if he's ready.
Hey, that kid should have won.
You got to start seeing if he's ready.
He should have won that game last week. If DJ Moore ain't take his helmet off, he would have had him a W.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, right? Because they played Atlanta again.
Yeah.
They played them not this Sunday, but the Sunday before, and now they went and skipped the week and playing them on a Thursday.
Yeah.
They're kind of crazy.
Yeah, that was a weird scheduling. Usually the NFL gets it right for scheduling. On this one, the Thursday game, not so much. The Monday night game is a little better.
I mean, they don't care. They making $30-40 million a year off of this damn Thursday night game.
Oh, Amazon did. Look, man, Amazon don't care. Okay, they just Amazon wanted to be in on football. Okay, and potentially one of their if Bezos ends up owning a team, you're going to have a team owner that owns Thursday night football all by himself.
Well, technically, he can buy a team because he's technically not the CEO or whatever of Amazon. So that's not a conflict of interest. So he must have knew that when he set that deal up. So it's not a conflict of interest because that was one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
But he getting paid from your own company. Ain't nothing better than that shit. Think about it, like going on vacation. You go on vacation, but you get to write the whole damn vacation off.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's what it's like. So.
Hey, Tony, we're going to jump off real quick, but I wanted to run this by you. Thursday, can we get Jody back on Thursday?
We got to check Jody's schedule, hopefully.
Let's see if we can get Jody back on Thursday. On Sunday. On Monday, I'm sorry. So he can talk about what he's broadcasting a college game on Saturday.
Get us ready for the Monday night game, which is a make or break for the Washington Commanders season. They lose that game, I think they go to Howell for quarterbacks. That's me. Because they got to find out what they got, man. You got to find out what you have. Instead of that doing every rookie done play, right? Except for the guy for Atlanta. And the only reason why he hadn't played is because they've been in the division league. They had losing record in the division league. So why should they play him?
At this point, Washington does need to find out what they have. If once they're mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, I want to see Sam Howell play. Bottom line.
But yeah, you got to find out what you have. I
Yep,
mean, that's just me. You know, everybody can argue either way. Ain't no sense in paying that guy money and just sitting them there and you don't know what you have. That's
I
why I
agree.
like Pittsburgh with Pickett. They know what they have. They're seeing it on film. It's not a theory,
Hmm.
but that's the difference of a great program and management in Washington.
Yep.
Total difference.
Well, I look for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I look for a lot of other teams with young quarterbacks to consider making some moves at offensive coordinator.
We also got to say to your dad and everybody, Happy Veterans Day. Your dad served a lot of people. Fitzgerald Cody, your dad. Happy Veterans Day to all the vets. Everybody who has served from way back in the day. Happy Veterans Day to all who have served and to the ones who served to protect our freedom. Actually, the ones who served to gain us freedom. You know, it's a little different. People talk about freedom, here, this, and that. Well, I mean, we're going to talk about the ones who actually helped us become free.
That's
And we
right.
want to thank those guys because those are the ones who have been lost over the years. Dave's dad served. He's no longer with us. Rest in peace. But we want to say
Thanks,
Happy
Tony.
Veterans Day to all those folks. Happy
Appreciate
Veterans
everybody.
Day.
Yep,
It
everybody that
ain't a day
served.
to just chill tomorrow. Thank a vet tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you, God.
Appreciate it. Thanks for joining
All
us.
right, bro.
We're gonna be back on us
Monday
on
night.
Monday. On
Get
Monday
ready for
night,
that Eagles game.
big game, and definitely want to give a shout out. Dedicating the show to CNN's Fred Hickman,
Fred
past
Hickman.
assistant. Hey man, nobody smoother than Fred Hickman, man.
Fred
Mr.
Hickman.
He was great. One of the great sports broadcasters of all time in this business, and passed away yesterday.
All right, babe. See you Monday night.
Great show, Tony, and thank you.
All
Appreciate it,
right.
everybody.
See
Catch you
you
next.
guys. See you next week, guys. Yeah, Durant was trying to join Jay Z.